And we got a backup, Dave's video and everything too, so. Okay. Are we on? Is this thing on? Okay, here we go. Woohoo! You know, I keep hearing about all the numbers, you know, around COVID, and, you know, there's a lot of argument about what goes in that number and what blah, blah, blah. This is a product of COVID-19 for us. This came to us because I started looking for other ways to do this. And this young man came into our lives.
All right, good man.
Yeah. And that young man continues to be in our life with amazing music.
Right.
Matt Devlin. I've been his grocery budget, he said. Do we love that? Do we love that? That's worth doing. And then, of course, Trina, who has stood by us through this thick and thin, creating videos, doing music, being on the board. Round of applause. So, you know how this goes. Now, can y'all hear me? We're okay? We're good? Okay.
Yeah.
So the rule is if you're performing, you don't have to wear a mask. That's why you see me not wearing one right now. Look at this. I'm using my Unity pen. It works as a mask holder. How about that?
Oh.
You too can have one of these. So, you know, I work on the message, and I had a lot of fun with this because I actually did a teaser on Thursday night. We actually did a video of this message, and that's kind of a cool little system. So it's on YouTube this morning, so those of you who have the opportunity or are watching that now, good, that's cool. And then we're going to upload this service. All right, so 2 for the price of 1. 2, right? So on the way in, I'm on the way out, not in, so I'm coming out now to come out here, right? Of course, Post-it notes start flying, you know. I'm always grateful when there's a stop sign or a stoplight because it never fails when I'm on my way, you know, something's dropping in. And I love that. And I will tell you, I affirm wholeheartedly and with joy that I still haven't found what I'm looking for. Because we are infinite. I don't ever want to find everything I'm looking for. Not yet. I'm evolving. I'm becoming more of who God is inviting me into. I don't know that that's a bad thing that I still haven't found what I'm looking for. Because there's more. There's more. There's more God. All right, that's not what the talk is about. But anyway, so I found several quotes about this topic, taking the high road. And we'll see how they work into the talk, but I thought they were worth sharing, so I'm going to share them. And interestingly enough, I could not find one author. I couldn't confirm one author, because I try to pay really close attention to that. And I appreciate Marcia, because Marcia keeps me straight on that. She checks me on that, and I appreciate it. Here's one of those quotes. Conflict cannot survive when only one person participates. Hoo-hoo. I like that when it's on my side of the formula. Conflict cannot survive when only one person participates. Talking louder, my mother used to say this, and this is a quote from her, talking louder does not make you more correct. That's what she'd say. When you take the high road, you always have the strategic advantage. When you take the high road, people will either rise up to join you or fall out of sight. When you take the high road, the view is much better. So I have a question for you. Do you know when you're not on the high road? So we'd call that the low road. Do you know when you're not on the high road and you're kind of taking that, you see that exit and it says low road and you can feel yourself pulling right toward that exit. And you're headed for it. Only probably 5 or 6 times a day for me, right? How do you know when you're on the low road? Now, I didn't ask you how you know how the other guy's on the low road. That one's easy. It is so easy for me to see you on the low road. But how do you know when you're on the low road? What is your standard of measure in that? How do you know that the road you're on is not your greatest expression in any given moment? So I have a little conflict about that because I believe that we are always the greatest expression that we can be in that given moment. God doesn't show up, as Helen so eloquently put it, God doesn't show up partial, right? So even when I'm on the low road, I am still the expression of God. I just want to get that really clear today, because there's no, I'm on the high road, I didn't do it right because now I'm on the low road. There's none of that going on here in this conversation. This is about consciously making the choice to get on the high road and to keep raising our own personal standard so that that high road begins to elevate not only us, but the world around us. And we need to be on the high road. And folks, through all the fog, through all the dust, through all the noise, there's a high road. It's still there. You know what the low road is. It's pretty easy, isn't it? You know that when you're stressed out, you're exhausted, you're resentful, when you insist on being right, oh, that's a pretty good indicator right there that you took the low road exit. When you insist on being right, and how about this one? How about when you insist on your opponent apologizing? I'm going to get an apology out of this. Welcome to the low road. When your fuse is so short that you feel justified in throwing your own little temper tantrum. When you're in the grip of fight or flight emotions and the other person or the situation starts to look like the enemy, I will guarantee you, you have approached the low road. If you need any reminders, I have video of my own life that would support that, what it looks like. Ask yourself this in those moments. Where do you feel love in that moment when you are consciously choosing, or you may be a victim and somebody forced you onto the low road, don't you know? Where do you feel the love in that moment? I'm going to fix this. Watch that. All right, there we go. Where do you feel the love in that moment? When in your thoughts, in your body, in the environment, where is the love in that moment? What would my response look like on a video? I love asking myself that question because I see a lot of me on video these days. So what if somebody were videoing that moment when I could consciously identify, that I had consciously made the decision to take the low road? What would that look like? And is that something that you want to have be a part of who you are? Is that something that you want to have be your legacy? And it's moment to moment, folks. We're not just talking about the big stuff. We're talking about from moment to moment. What is that thought? What is that thought that you're moving to? Is it a low road thought or is it a high road thought? Just a question. No real judgment. Well, that's not really true. I do have judgment about that, but mostly about myself. But I will bet that if I have the ability to judge myself like that, I also have the ability to judge others just like that. And I'm going to demonstrate to you exactly how judgmental I can be by the way I treat myself and the thoughts that I hold and the low road thoughts that I generate in here. I'm going to show you exactly how mean and how shallow and how low road I can be, and it shows up in the way that I love me. It shows up in the way that I express in the world and how I treat me. You want to know if you're on the low road? Look at how you're treating yourself. Look at that. Because it's right there. It's right there. Your soul is observing and the universe is responding. That's what came as I was driving here. Your soul is observing these choices that you're making. Your soul is observing that. And the universe is just responding. Knowing you are on the low road, or at least being aware that you're slowing down for the exit, gives us an opportunity to observe. Knowing when you are on the high ground, do you know when that is? And is it automatically opposite of the low road? I don't think so, because I think there's a lot of middle road in here somewhere. So how do you know when you're eyeing the high road exit? That's the road that you want to get on. How do you know that you're doing that? How do you know when you've arrived at the high road? So I have a little story to tell you. On, must have been Thursday, because those are my office hours on Thursday. So I'm sitting in my office, which I love to say that at the church. The minister has an office. And I was holding this beautiful handwritten card. And it was a sentiment of gratitude to this ministry and to me personally, of how this ministry is showing up in their life and how it's making a difference. So I'm holding this card and I'm feeling that. That felt really good. And all of a sudden my lights start to flicker in my office.
Oh,
And I'm thinking, of course, you know, I'm a project manager. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, it must be a short because it can't be, you know, I go into my whole little project management thing. La, 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 la. And then I realize that must be Michael. That must be Michael. And sure enough, here I hear him coming up the steps. Here he comes. Now I'm holding this card that I'd received earlier in the week in my hand. And here's Michael. Now, you know, I warned him before they hired me. I'm a project manager and I will always have a project. So Michael and I are discussing the latest project that I have in mind for our space. Michael gets up, gets ready to leave, and he says, "Cheap thrills, baby." And I'm still holding this card in my hand. And I said, "Cheap thrills, baby." And in that moment, I knew that this ministry was on the high road. There was not one word conversation or anything about what is going on in the world in that moment. We didn't make any big policy changes. We didn't change how people see the world in that given moment, but we changed how I saw it. And it's a lot like those sand dollars that wash up on the beach. And the man starts to toss them back in, and he's questioned as to what good he thinks he's doing. And he picks up another one and he throws it into the water, and he said, "It might not change everything, but it'll make a difference to that one." And in that moment, I knew this ministry is on the high road. I knew that the consciousness that we hold collectively makes a difference, and it changes the way Flagstaff shows up. And it changes the way the world has an opportunity to see itself. We are on the high road. And I could not be more honored to be sharing that with this community. This community, that community, and all the other community that we're building in this community. We're on the high road. Can you feel it? You get that? I'm giving you a point of reference. So if you start to question, if you know in your life, if you're moving toward the high road, remember how it feels right now to acknowledge and affirm and claim in this ministry that that's where we're at. Because this can be your new point of reference. This can be what you go back to say, "Oh, I know what a high road thought looks like. I know exactly what that looks like." It looks like gratitude in the form of a card. It looks like connection in the form of somebody that cares about our space, that loves this ministry. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. And we're all doing it. And there are people that are sneaking off to the Family Food Center, and they're volunteering how many times a week, Susie? We got people that are showing up and making sandwiches. We got people that are dropping off food at our sanctuary. in the middle of a pandemic, we have started 2 Helping Hands projects. We're on the high road. You want to know what it looks like? Look around. This is who we are. This is who we came to be. And being able to recognize those high road moments will give you the opportunity to pass up that low road exit and keep moving on down the road till you get to that high road exit. That high road of thought, that high road of behavior, that high road of action. The sense of connection in that moment with Michael was palpable for me. Now, that doesn't come as any big surprise to those of you who know Michael and how he can impact a life. And he is a mirror of each and every one of us. That's what he is. And now I ask the question, how do you take that high road, Penny? Because now I am floating. I am in my office and I am floating and I am feeling good about Unity of Flagstaff. And I'm feeling good about who I am and I am feeling good about that I'm the minister. And I'm feeling good that my contract has been renewed and they'll have me for another year. I'm feeling good. And in enters my high horse. How do I stay in that consciousness of drawing in the high road and staying on that and not getting on my high horse of self-righteousness? How do I avoid slinging the saddle up on her and away we're going to go because we're going to show the world how to do this? And our way is the right way, just like Helen reminded us, right? My way is the right way. And up here on my high horse, I am so willing to tell you that that is exactly the truth. And then I become subject to falling right off of the high road and taking a step down. And about that time, that horse of self-righteousness will buck me right off, I will guarantee it. And I'm not saying that I shouldn't be celebrating those things, those high road thoughts, but let's keep it real, folks. Let's stay grounded in who we are, and we are expressions of God. We're not here to impress anybody. And when I get on my high horse and I'm looking down on those people and I'm thinking, you don't wear a mask, you must not believe in science, shame on you. And I'm thinking, you're not doing it right. What do you mean you're opening your ministry? What do you mean you're meeting in your church? And I have all kinds of thoughts and judgments about that. And in that moment, do you think that there is one opportunity for a divine thought to drop in? Do you think that there's one opportunity to have a positive impact in the world in that moment? I don't think so. Not for me. I would love to learn to reconcile that, be up on my high horse and still be on the high road. That would be really cool. I haven't figured it out. That's not what I know about me as a human. And it's a wondrous thing if we look around and realize that what we teach is we're all one. And we get to start to stand back and say, it's all God. It's all miraculous. It's all a wonder. And I am humbled to be a part of it and to stand with you on the high road. It's all a wonder. So we're going to take a little break. I'm going to let that settle for just a moment. In me. I don't know what you guys are going to do at that time. And Ryan is going to sing the 7 Wonders of the World. And I'd like you to breathe into that and consider all those places that are demonstrated as high roads in this song, that are demonstrating higher thought and consciousness. And then I'll be back. That's fair warning.
So Matt's going to be my handy-dandy page turner because this is a really long chart.
All right.
Let's get that in tune again. day at my school in world history. Teacher popped a quiz. He said this was easy. Just name the 7 wonders of the world for me. So this is what we wrote. The pyramids of Egypt, the Taj Mahal, the Panama Canal, China's Great Wall, world famous landmarks, we counted them all. Yes, we got every vote. Then I noticed the shy girl who sits next to me hadn't turned in her list, it was plain to see. Teacher asked her what trouble might be, and this is what she said. There's so many answers, I don't know what to say. Teacher said maybe we can help find a way. Just read us your list. The girl hesitated, and this is what she read. To touch, to see, to taste, and to feel, and to love, and to hear, to love while we're here. All these are such wonders, wonderful wonders, 7 wonders of the world.
There you go. Matt, you didn't do it.
Not a page turner.
You're fired, Matt.
That was like the most opportune moment for that to happen, wasn't it? You could have heard a pin drop in that room. Nobody spoke, nobody moved. Someone asked the girl to read it once more through, and she spoke once again. To touch, to see, to taste, and to feel, to laugh, and to hear, to love while we're here. All these are such wonders, wonderful wonders, 7 wonders of the world. It's a gentle reminder from a gentle soul. We take things for granted, worth more than gold. And the richest treasures in life's plan cannot be built with our own hands. To touch, to see, to taste, and to feel, to laugh, and to hear, to love while we're here. All these are such wonders, wonderful wonders, 7 wonders of the world. 7 wonders of the world. 7 wonders of the world.
It's taken the high road. It's all that wind moving up to the high road, right? Don't you think? Ryan, thank you. Thank you. Matt, thank you.
Yes.
All right. So one thing that we know about the high road is this, that it's not the opportunity to practice our self-righteousness. It is our opportunity to exercise our self-rightedness. And when we move to self-rightedness, we have the opportunity to move to the correct side of thinking, the high road. Ernest Holmes says it this way: does this thing I wish to do express more life, more happiness, more peace to myself, and at the same time harm to no one? Because if it does, it is right. It is not selfish. It is right thinking. And from the revealing word written by Charles Fillmore, one of our co-founders, wherever you and God are, there is a net. And that net is filled with ideas because you are in touch with the infinite storehouse of wisdom. And when you're in your right mind, you will be subject to the plethora of divine mind thoughts. And when you acknowledge your oneness with the mind of God and you take the time to notice those high road thoughts and you connect them back to the expression of who you are, because they're all around you, you are stepping into self-rightedness. And you don't have to worry about that high horse. When you take